Yeah, before I get started, anyone tried this framework for your personal work or for your project work? Any questions on setting up the framework, running the scenarios, designing the steps, writing the step
Not me.
definitions?
Not me.
Yep. Raj and Madhu.
Yeah, Suresh.
Mm-hmm.
I also didn't try any. Actually, I thought of doing the same work, but because of other work associated, and
Mm.
I could not be able to do that.
Okay.
I'm sorry
Oh
for
no, no,
that.
no. I'm totally fine. If you do, if you don't do, there's nothing with me. But what I was saying is, I wanted to clear if you have any questions. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have spent really lot of time on setting up the framework, explaining the framework, not Cucumber, excluding Cucumber, like explain the Selenium, how to write the step definition, how to capture the XPath. There should not be any doubts. Everything is very clear. If you still have the doubts, I want to clear that. That's why I was asking. Okay. So today, my plan is to cover the sessions. Okay, and one more thing is like last session, we talked about the Selenium IDE, right? Like, anyone have any questions on that? Anyone tried?
Yes, it's like I've been, I tried, I mean, I worked a lot on ID, but not inserting the code into, I didn't insert the code into test payment, right? We'll
Mhm.
try it in next week, yeah.
Then what did you try in Selenium IDE?
Uh, Actually, at my workplace, the applications are, I mean, they have developed the test with through ID, so I'm working on it present.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing I want to say is using. I really, I have used Selenium IDE 6 to 7% of my time overall. See, so Selenium ID is useful when someone give you an assignment and they ask you to build a script in very short period of time. You can go for Selenium IDE. The problem with Selenium IDE is you don't have any control on picking up the XPaths. So that Selenium IDE has some algorithm built in. Based on that, it gives the priority. Okay, which one I need to pick, IDE or CSS selector or using absolute XPath, relative XPath. So based on that algorithm, it will behave and it will capture some elements XPath. If we don't want to use a Selenium IDE, when we have enough time, we can design our XPaths. It may take little time to design the XPaths for each element, but eventually it will really help, because to capture a component, we can capture the component in many ways, right? When we go to target, let's suppose, go to deals, go to top deals. Yeah, let me see this get deal, inspect. Go to crow path. See, all the time I was using the crow path. Sometimes, even see, look at this. The crow path is giving div contains text of get the deal. If we have the same button again on the same page, then this won't work, right? So we have to check that one as well. We have to search, copy this and put it here and do control F and select. See, when I do select, it is showing only one
Oh, no, are you
component.
sharing your screen?
Oh, sorry.
I can't see your screen, Suresh.
I
Sorry.
am not saying.
Yeah, I didn't share my screen. Come on. Sorry. Yeah. So what I was saying is, okay, let me come. Okay. So now I want to
Maybe you
capture
have to
the,
tell from the beginning.
yeah. So I'm in target.com now. I want to capture the get the deal. Okay. So to capture the get the deal, what I can do is do the inspect, go to crop path. This is recommending get the deal div. So I copied this. Directly cannot use this, right? Because I want to make sure that get the deal is not repeated in the same page. If there is the same button on the bottom of the page, then the confusion will come which one needs to pick. So that's why to make sure that I'm doing copying and I'm selecting here, doing control F, I'm searching, but I found only one component. See this yellow highlight? So that means what? We don't have the duplicate button of get the deal, right? I'll go with that. Now I'll go with that. If you look at here, this button doesn't have ID. That's the problem. So in this,
the search is for the whole page, right?
yeah, whole page. It is searching for whole page. This when you do control F here and put the X path here, the whatever the X path you copied, you put it here and do enter. See, we don't have any other button with the same name. That means it's very safe to use this X path. If you have the same button, then there will be a problem, right? Which one to pick when we run at runtime? It may pick the top one, it may pick the bottom, it may pick the random. We don't know how does Selenium WebDriver behaves. So better to capture the unique X path.
Can I ask you a question? Like that ID,
Mhm.
I was testing on my company laptop,
Mhm.
and then it was working fine. But I see all the div. Wherever I see the divs, I replace those with the exports, and it worked. But ID better not to use. That's what I felt.
I didn't understand what's the div and what's the X path, but
No. IDE when I'm recording
Mhm.
on my company's website,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it was showing. Most of them were showing with the div, like body div and so on.
Okay.
The CSS and also
See,
CSS
that's
sometimes.
what I was saying you is like algorithm behaves differently when you run the same same project again. It may give you a different XPaths.
As you said, Cropath is the best.
No,
Anyways.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying CrowPath is the best, but what I'm saying is you pick your XPath. Sometimes CrowPath also gives you bad XPath. Then you go
Oh,
here and right click and inspect and check. Always don't go with the XPath.
okay.
If you see a very good deal here, I mean, very good XPath, take it. Sometimes CrowPath also shows you very big path. Then
How do I know? Like, how can I judge if that's a good
that
path or not?
that's that's up to you. You can use the CrowPath all the time, but sometimes what happens is for me when I was using CrowPath, it won't show night like 80% of time it will show the very good path. When there's a IDE, it will show IDE by default. So that's
Oh,
good when there's IDE. Then there is no IDE. So in this case, it is showing get the deal. What happens if we have the same button again?
that's why you're asking to search it again on the
Search
whole
it
page.
again, do right click. If you see, copy this. Where is this? Right click, copy, export. Let's see what this gives. See, this is giving different. I want to go for this one. Now I'll go for XPath.
Yeah, got it.
So that's it. That's what I'm saying. You have to apply your mind. Think, design. That's what I call design your XPaths. It
Hmm.
it will come
That's
with the experience. I cannot
okay.
teach you on that, but it comes with the experience. But Selenium IDE, no. Don't go for Selenium IDE if you want to develop. If you want to develop a application which has to run long time, okay, and don't ever go to CSS selectors. That is the lowest on the priority. If you don't have any other option, then go for CSS selector.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. So so far so far we have covered how to communicate to the browser, how to open the browser, how to change the applications, and how to click on the buttons, how to click on the links, right? So far we have covered button clicks and sending a text to the text boxes. Now I'll show you one thing, only one thing I want to cover, like how to get a label. That's not very tough. You can easily do that. Suppose where is the label? Let me see. Go to target. Okay, let me go to aha trainings.
Suresh, one question
Yeah,
came.
yeah.
So if in future there's a get deal button over the page, so now we need to change the whole test script again. Like
Button. Okay, can you come again?
if there is another get the deal button on this page,
Yeah,
will our test case fail?
yeah.
And
It won't fail, but it will click. Suppose if they have put one more button here, and we are going with this X path, and that will click this button instead of this button, right? Whichever button algorithm finds, it will click. But that's not what you needed, right?
yes, yes,
That's why I was telling you, you have to design the X path. Designing is very important. Only effort you have to put is designing your X paths. Other than that, believe me, there is no complexity at all. Writing the Java code is just copying and pasting, nothing else. You don't need to break your head to write the logic. You already know how to write if condition. I'm going to teach you how to put the assertions. You already know how to click the buttons. You already know how to send the data to the text boxes. You already know how to navigate, and you already know how to design your scenarios, and you already know how to design your X paths. I don't think there is a complexity to write a Java code like this. The only thing you have to do is for click or text, whatever. See, you can do the like sign WebDriver dot find element, put that element by link test or whatever XPath like this, and dot click. If you want to do clear. If you want to, if this is a label, get text, and this gives you the string. You can name it as label. That's it. You got the label here. Let me show you one real example. Now I want to take a label.
Yeah, label means any text on the website, you mean?
Anything, any
Okay.
cover. Get the XPath, it will give you the text.
Hmm.
Let me see, can I get the label of this? What's the crop path of this? No, I cannot take this. Yeah, my website is not suitable for automation. I don't have any stuff here. Okay, let's see whether interview preparation. Okay, let me try here. What is the export for this? So this will take time. See, I don't like this export either, but I don't have any other option. I didn't put any IDs in the website. Okay, I didn't put any IDs in the website. So what I'll do here now is, I can do something like this.
But there is an ID, right? At the rate ID post 439.
Here,
What is that?
where? This is the
I,
S3 interview preparation. I was talking about interview preparation.
oh, okay.
I want to check whether my website has interview preparation or not. That's my scenario. Okay. Okay, let me go through again. So I'm going to my app.feature. Where is the Okay, let me create a new scenario. Test check interview available. Okay, this is my scenario name, and now check verify landing page. This is my step, and this is the close the browser. Okay, now what I need to do, I need to copy this. I'm going to my home page. I'm writing a new method, public void verify homepage of aha. This is my method, simple method. Now I'll go to step definition. I already copied the step, right? First thing is I put the step here. I just copied a method, put it here, cut this, put it here, and we already created a method name. Copy this, go to step def, put the method name here, put the method name here. Any complexity here? So we are ready with our step def, right? I'll put off aha. I'll put off aha. Now again I need to change here. I put off aha, off aha. Okay, now we already have the step and we already have the method ready. So my method is ready here. So once it goes to landing page, what is that? Copy. I'll go for full export and see what it gives to me. No, I don't like this export. Copy export. See, it is saying post 439. So the problem here is we may get the same ID or we may not get the same ID. Let me reload the page. Okay, now I reloaded the page and again I'm checking the inspect. So this is how you have to check. Copy that again. Yeah, so I'm getting the same XPath. That means I can use this XPath. Okay, I double check. This is how you have to do. Now what I do is I'll copy. I don't need to copy. Generally, you can type something like this: WebDriver dot find element by dot XPath. Give the string inside this. So this is my XPath. This is the fastest way. And now what I need to do, I need to get the text. I'm getting the text string text. I got the text, right? Now here what I do is assert. There is a class called assert, and there are lot of overloaded methods. This is what we talked, right? Assert is a class, assert equals is a method, and we have seen lot of overloaded methods. So I clicked on one overloaded method, and what I can say is I'll see whether I have the interview preparation or not. I want to check this. Interview preparation, comma, a text. So okay, so what this does is we already got the text here from the website using the XPath of this component. Now what I'm going to check is asset is a class, asset equals is a static method, and I'm giving two parameters. two arguments. It has two parameters. I'm giving two arguments. One is I want to check whether this and this are same or not. If both are same, we are good. If both are not same, this method will fail. It will throw an error. Let's see what happens. And one more thing, when you want to sleep in the inside a method, thread is a class, again sleep is a static method, so we're not creating any objects. Put the sleep. My website is very slow. I'll say 3000. That means 3 seconds I'm sleeping. It gives you an error. Just I'll do add throws declaration. This is needed for a thread class. So as soon as you do that, it will show up the throws here. That's it. Now I'm going to put a debugger. Now my scenario is what? This is the one, right? I'm copying this. I'm going to run cubes. I'm putting this here, right click. Now I want to run this in debug mode. Okay. So just coming here, I'll go to next step. So it was started successfully. So landing page is loaded. Okay, so this is here. Now when I go to one step, after 3 seconds it will go to this step. So here I'm going to next step. See, if you look at the text has what? Interview preparation, right? So we got the text. This is the label. You can call it as label, or even you can get a name from the button using get text. We can get any kind of text using the XPath. So for this XPath, the text is interview preparation. Now when I do this, I don't see any issue because the both are same, right? What is the issue here? It's not same. Okay, it has failed. Why it has failed? Interview preparation, but was interview preparation. Okay, maybe. Oh, see, spelling is wrong. Okay, so this is my scenario got failed now. If you look at this, it is failed at this step, right? It is clearly saying, okay, let me make this big. It is clearly saying JUnit framework comparison failure. Expected is interview preparation, but was interview preparation. So both are not matching, right? And it's also showing where exactly we have the problem. Instead of A, there is a E. Now really I don't know what is the right right spelling. Preparation, this is right? Preparation, yeah, this is right. So preparation, but my website, in my scenario, it was showing, it was expecting. Where is this? Preparation. Now I'll make it preparation. Okay, now I'll save it and I'll run it. Let's see what happens. See, one scenario passed, three steps, three passed. This is how you can validate. Suppose if you made a payment in one page and you're expecting after make the payment and you're expecting one page saying showing the confirmation message your payment has been successful. So how to check that the payment is successful or not? This is how you have to check. Go to that label or the error message, take the XPath, get the text and assert. This is how you have to put the validations. If you don't expect, suppose for example, I'm just giving you an example. Suppose if you made a payment and you're expecting confirm successful there is a big message, okay, very big message, and there is a dynamic message as well because it is showing order id is successfully placed. You don't want to check everything, right? All you can check is you can check something like this: successful text dot contains successful. You can check something like this: the text dot contains successful. You can say like, one second, we have one more method, assert true. We can put a condition here saying, see, I am expecting true here, right? Text contains successful. What happens if the text contains no successful? This will throw an error. The same thing I can do it here. I'm checking it has the view. See this? Now this is successful or this will pass or this is fail. This will fail. Chana, Raj, Madhu. This will pass or this will fail. We already know how to check
It
contents.
doesn't.
So this returns what? This text dot contents of view returns what? True or false?
It's false, right?
So text has interview preparation. I'm saying text dot contains view.
Yeah, it's false.
How it's false?
Yeah, the text there is interview preparation, and here view.
Text contains. This contains view.
Yeah, is that?
So false or true?
That's a false, right? It's not true. That interview preparation, the text variable is storing the value interview preparation,
Mm-hmm.
and in that text you are asking whether the text contains view. View is not there.
View is not
That
there.
means false.
This is not there. View is not there here.
Oh, you mean, yeah, I was thinking of whole world. Okay. Some characters, right? So, okay, yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So my test will be successful now. So this is how you can write your assertions. If you want to fail a scenario, assertion will help you to fail the scenario. Without
It
assert,
is, can I assume like this, like manual test case, in expected result, I assume like I should get this value.
yes,
And if it is not actual value, then it is fail.
that's it.
Similar to that.
Yep. Suppose
Yeah, and
I'm.
one more thing here.
Uh-huh.
I understood about this one,
Mm-hmm.
but the question was with the throws exception. How did you get that? It was not there initially. I
I'll show
I
you that.
kind of repeat that one.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thanks.
If you look at this, my scenario is failed. Why? I'm going here. Okay, this step, I see a failure. If you look at this, assertion failed error, right? When you say assertion, it would have failed because of this one. And I got the text from the XPath, but I am checking whether the text has Jana or not. That is my use case. That is my test case. I don't see Jana. I made this fail. This scenario is failed. You can use anything. This is just a string, right? You have lot of methods in string, right? You can use
Yeah.
any method and write asset true or asset false, anything.
Um, I have a question here.
Yeah,
The asset true. Okay.
yeah,
Uh, it failed, right, in the results.
yeah.
So how can I know what exactly is failed? It was not showing Jana something right
It is said assertion failed. When you
there.
click on this home page, it will take you there. But it will also give some information here. Assertion failed error. When there is a comparison, it will give you the comparison where exactly it failed. But there is no comparison here, right? The text
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
contain Jana. That doesn't contain Jana, so it is giving a session failed. That's it.
Oh,
And
okay. So if it is equals, then it exactly tells you what is
yeah,
missing.
what is missing? But there is nothing here. The text doesn't contain
Mhm.
Jana. It will just show a session is failed.
Okay. It just shows the line number where
Yeah.
it failed.
What happens when I do this? What happens when I do this? This
The first one is fast and the second one fails.
why? Okay,
Assert,
now
okay, assert false contains Jana. Yeah, this passes because I'm not expecting Jana in the text variable.
yeah,
That's why
your scenario is passed or failed.
pass.
Yeah, that's it. So this is how you can write your assertions. Most of the time, use equals or false. If you want to compare, use this. If you want to check whether the it has contains this one, you can do this. Or if you go to a target, okay, when you go to target in the landing page, if you want to see, okay, if you want to see save up to 50%, or if you want to see build the perfect patio, right click, inspect, span contains, no, don't go for this one, get the XPath and check the perfect patio is available or not. Sometimes when we go to Whole Foods or any other let's go to, yeah, when I this is what I have done, right? I told you already. Whole Foods, when I click on the checkout, when I click on the proceed continue, it will show up pick your slot. Just I was doing asset equals asset contains pick your slot. I was taking some XPath, like I know where exactly the pick your slot label was showing up. I was checking that. Sometimes what happens is I won't even get the XPath available on the page. At that point of time, the scenario will fail due to the exception. So, for example, see this. Now I have removed the 2 and I have put 22. Okay, this is my XPath, right? So what will happen here?
Object fails. I mean, it won't recognize that.
Yeah, I won't even get the text, right? I don't even get this. I don't even get this, right? If I get this, then I'll get the text, right? Let me run this. I need to go to target, right? Okay, I need to go to. Okay, fine. Let me run this. This is not assertion failure. Assertion means you are expecting something and the scenario was failed due to it didn't match your expectation. A successful flow can fail, but here this is not a successful flow. We are getting errors, we're getting exceptions. Say this: no such element available with this export. So of course our scenario was failed, but it will throw an exception because our scenario was not completed first of all, right? In previous case our scenario was almost completed, but it we wanted to make our scenario fail because we have put an assertion, we want to put an assertion, we want to specifically fail the scenario because we're expecting something, we're not seeing that, let's fail it. I wanted to fail that scenario, but in this case it is not in my control. I'm expecting a path, I'm expecting an element here, I'm expecting the text of the element. This itself is failing, it's not coming here, right? It won't even go to the next step when it fails. So this is not in our hands at all. There's no XPath on the browser. This gives nothing, exception, error. We can't even get the get text. How can I get a get text when there is no XPath? How can you get a XPath of not existing component? From if there is a component, I can get the XPath of the element. If there is nothing, I can't get anything. Just error. Any questions here?
I have question only like how you got that throws interrupt exception without you writing. How did you
Okay,
get
yeah, yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
I for
Okay,
I want
let's
like that.
let me show you that.
Thank
Okay, when you write this thread dot sleep, see it is giving an error, right? Red color error.
you. Mm-hmm.
Place the mouse here.
Mm-hmm.
Add throws declaration. That's it.
Oh, okay. It shows three exceptions. Which one should I select?
Interrupted exception.
Interrupted exception. Yeah. Add throws.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So, recording the class or no?
Yeah. What is your question?
Are you recording the class?
Yeah, yeah.
The
Suresh,
class.
Yeah. Go ahead,
yeah,
Madhu.
Suresh,
Yeah.
assert dot assert equals. Why it is taking as a striking?
It's a depreciation method. That's why. Don't worry about that.
Okay,
Okay. Don't worry about it. It's a deprecated method. That's fine. You don't worry about that. Yeah, Madhu, you have one more question, right?
No, no, I'm
Yeah.
just asking the wait, have you, I mean, are you recording the class or like,
Yeah, yeah. I'm recording.
thank you.
Yeah.
So when you're writing the assertions, you don't need to write if conditions.
That will help. A session where you don't need to write any if conditions.
Okay.
You can do it everything in one. See, can I show you one more thing? I can do everything in one line.
Mm-hmm.
I copy this. See, assertion equals. I'm expecting this one, right? This can be this side. This can be this side. That doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I'll take everything. I can put it here. So only this line is enough for me. See this? The same line. I'm taking this element. I'm taking the get text. I'm comparing with the get text with this one. That's it.
You're reducing the code also.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
The yeah, you can do that, but I don't recommend you to do this. don't go, but we have an option if you don't want more lines. And one more thing I told you, right? Selenium IDE helps you giving only the IDEs, but it doesn't help you in writing your assertions. It will take us to the flow, that's all. But you have to write your assertions. So my suggestion, my recommendation, don't go to Selenium IDE. If you go to Selenium IDE, you won't get the real experience. Just remember, you are going to spend in the future a lot of time on the automation going forward. There won't be any manual. After 5 6 years, I don't think there will be a manual tester that exist in any of the project. There won't be any manual tester at all. What happens is, in the agile they'll introduce the automation. When you're writing something, your code, now what are we doing? As a developer, I'm taking the story, and I'm building the user interface, I'm building the backend, I'm writing the service, I'm writing the controller, I'm writing the DAO, and I'm writing my test cases in Java, and I'm writing the integration test cases in Java. But going forward, they may add, write your own automation script along with your story. If there is a button change, if it is existing, you fix your automation. If there is no automation exist for your scenario, write your own automation, and they will attach that automation to the story. If I get the story to submit a form, I'll do the back end, I'll do the front end, I'll write my test cases, I'll write my new integration test cases. Finally, after I deploy the code, I will write my Selenium code to test the user interface. So that will be part of my story going forward. This practice definitely come up in next few years. If that comes, we don't need a QA. The same script may run in QA, stage, prod. Why do we need a QA? Just think, if the team has 5 to 6 developers and they are working on their use cases, their stories, if they are building their own Selenium scripts, then they will run everything using Selenium, right? The user interface testing. Why do they need QA? We already have the test cases, we already have the integration test cases, and we already have the Selenium for the user interface. Then done, pretty much done. We don't need a QA at all. So this will definitely happen in the future. At least 5 years down the line, 5 years, this will definitely happen. There are talks that even in our organization they're asking us, why don't you write a Selenium scripts? Why don't we attach to the story? So what I was saying is, get the experience, get the exposure, make your hands dirty, right? Go, and if you design your export,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you can write your Selenium script only if the UI is developed, no? Like how can they expect you to write it without UI?
Yeah, when I'm writing my, suppose if I get a story saying that develop a user form, employee form, or something like that, as part of my story I'm writing my
So
new user interface, right?
so if the developer is busy developing the UI parts and you need to test, you need to code. You need to take the experts from his the thing developed, right? So how can you do that?
See, suppose, see, in my current sprint, I'm doing my UI, I'm doing my backend. When I do the UI, when I do the backend, what I do, I will write my script. If someone is doing the UI and someone is doing the backend, then what happens is, whoever is doing the UI, they will take this task. They will develop the script. First, they will develop the user interface in the local, and they'll test in the local, and they will write the script, and they'll push the code. The same script will work in dev, the same script work in QA, stage, prod. Either way it works. When we are writing our JUnit, when we are writing our integration, why can't I write the Selenium script? it will come up slowly. That's why I was telling you, focus more on designing the XPath, making your hands dirty. Don't worry about Java. You are good with the Java. Once you start working on this one, right? There is nothing in the Java. See, get the text, get the click, send the keys, send the data. That's all you have. You don't even need to write if. You can write if there is a scenario, something like if you want to check something like if the object is, you have some conditions saying that if the text has interpretation, then only check, do something. So if you have these kind of scenarios, then write the if, or else I don't even write the if. Pretty much 80% of time we'll complete everything with the sessions. Just see how will you do the manual testing. I went to Walmart. Why always going to this one? Let's go to something else. Mm, mm, mm,
So
mm.
can we take the help of developers unit test case and write ours? Like, I mean, if you say, can we do that or no? Like,
Ta-
is it possible?
Take the developers help on test cases.
No, no, not developers help. Like they also write their unit test cases,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Can it be used?
yes. They will write their unit test cases for the Java, for the backend, and there is a user interface. Who will cover the user interface? Even developer can do that, right? Suppose, give me some website. Suppose amc.com. Okay, so we have one website here. I went to schedule. Mm, okay, I'll go to all movies. Okay, so there is a future developed by, where are the futures? I don't see any features here. Okay, let's go to sign in. Okay, so there is a new feature they have developed, and they have added Amazon here. Okay, that's a new feature. I'm the back end and someone is working on the front end. So front end guy, what he does is he put a button and he put a image of Amazon, and he calls my services, backend services. So for the backend service, I complete my test cases, I complete my integration test cases, I push my code, my API is ready. And the front end guy, he created a button, he created a link, he put the image, he did alignments, everything. Now he has a task: run this on automation. So go to this website, go to sign in, check whether that new button is available or not, exist or not. Just check it. If there is exist, click on that. When it click on that, it is it going to the Xfinity or Amazon website or not. So if there is Amazon, I would get something like this, amazon.com, right? I'll put Assertion, I'll get the XPath. Okay, this is navigated to Amazon. I will check that. So that UI developer will write the new script, and they will attach the new script to the CSAD. And there is a deployment. It will run this scenario on the Selenium. It will make pass. If it does not navigate to Amazon, that means what? There is an issue. That's how it's going to work. Any questions on our sessions?
Yeah, Suresh,
Yeah.
my question is not related to assertion. I understood assertion,
Okay.
but Bank of America people
Mm-hmm.
are discussing that they are using Raft tool for the Selenium.
Okay.
Is it like SDS or something?
Raft. What is the raft? I don't know what is the raft.
RAFT. And I observed in their discussion the predefined test cases, test scripts will be found there. And what we can do is by copying and pasting, for the scripting purposes what they are discussing, but I did not ask them. I am just asking you if you have an idea.
No, this is first time I'm.
Yeah,
See, there are lot of tools. I don't know about Raft. Let's see. Is this see? This is licensed version.
yeah,
So basically, what happens is this will use Selenium behind the scenes.
okay,
I'll say AHA tool, and I'll see. I can call this as look at this. I can call this framework as AHA framework.
yeah,
Okay, and I have built one mechanism. I have used. See, I can use Selenium IDE. I can integrate that in this framework, but that needs some time. But I can do that. I can integrate Selenium IDE. I'll ask them to give you a website. I'll go. I'll using Selenium IDE. I'll get all the XPaths based on the flow you selected, and I'll write a script and I can give you that. And I'll charge.
oh,
Okay, just pay me monthly 9.99 per user per application. So that is my framework. I'll call that as AHA.
okay,
AHA automation. I can call that AHA automation. Same thing they're doing. Nothing
okay,
different.
yeah, got it.
They've built some mechanism. They have built some robust frameworks, and they want to make some money out of it. But underlying, they're using IDE and Selenium.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, got it.
If you know the core, you can do anything. You can also build one framework. You can enhance
Okay,
this framework. You can do anything. Okay. So I can wrap up this class today because we don't have Anu and Jaya, right?
yeah.
But
If you don't mind, Suresh,
mhm.
can you please show me how the XPath can be extracted? That is copied and pasted there. And I am just confusing to get the XPath.
Okay, tell me one website.
Yeah, anything. Aha, let us take
No,
this one.
let's not take AHA. Already does that today itself, a lot of times. Tell me your own website.
Yeah, can you go to simoni.com?
What is that?
Simon, SIMONI.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you want to be a patient, you have to schedule an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So after you click the appointment,
Where is the appointment?
schedule an appointment up there.
There's no link. No link here.
Oh, okay. So they removed it.
Okay, so let's go to.
The same AMC what you showed us.
Okay, yeah, let's go to same AMC. Okay, so
I mean, any website that has the data displayed inside the table, like HTML table.
that's fine. I just want to show him the XPath. Okay, so look at this.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I am in emc.com, right?
yeah.
I'll right click here, inspect on schedule. Let's see what happens. I'm going to crow path. You have to install this crow path. Okay, when you install this crow path, it is showing the path here. The first path //a contains text of schedule. So this is a link. A means anchor tag. Anchor tag means link. So link contains schedule. So I can use this. Copy. When you click on this, the pen, it will show your XPath. Copy this. Go to your IDE. Paste it here. So this is your XPath, right?
Yeah.
So all you need to do is WebDriver dot find element by dot XPath and put this inside the quotations. Okay, then dot. If you want to click, you can click. That's it.
Yeah, got it.
Got it right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I'll wrap up this session today.
Okay.
And we have covered the sessions. This is very important. Assertion is very important. Without assertion, you cannot complete your flow. You have to keep adding assertions for every step. Just
Suresh,
yeah,
finally, one question that is, you told us what is BDD associated with cucumber.
yeah.
The TDD also is there, right?
Test
It
driven
is
development that developers will follow for developing the backend.
okay, okay. Not for us.
Yeah, BDD. We see whatever I have done is a BDD, right? So what
Yeah.
it so the first part here is I'm writing a step, right?
Mm.
This is the behavior verify landing page of aha. So this is what I have to do. Okay, now write the implementation of that. Go to step dev and create a new step, empty step. After that, I'm writing my behavior. So that
Okay.
is called BDD pretty much.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy there.
It's just like the functionality.
Not functionality, it's approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
How the
See
system behaves when we click on something.
how your application is developed. Which approach are you using? BDD, are you using TDD, are you using SDD, are you using XDD? There are a lot of approaches. Every team will design their own approaches. Somebody will
Okay.
say, "Hey, my approach is first I will write my backend. I will design my backend based on the backend. I'll design my front end." Somebody will say, "No, first you design your front end. Based on the front end, you design the backend." Somebody will say, "Hey, first take the uh, information from the business, write your behavior on the plain text, then convert that into technical." This is what we're doing here. That's called BDD. Suppose, like for an instance, if Jana is a QA, okay, I am writing the automation. I am asking him the scenarios. Hey Jana, you are a QA. You are doing QA for this application. Can you give me your scenarios? What are the scenarios you're going to cover when you do the QA? He will say, "Hey Suresh, so the first scenario is I open the target application. I will check whether search text boxes exist or not. So that's scenario number one. And I will also check whether I have a signing link or not. I also check whether I click on the signing link, I'll say the username, password, and login button or not. That's my scenario number three." So he will give all the scenarios. I'll write those scenarios in a plain paper or text pad, and I'll come here. I'll design my scenarios. So first, I'm identifying the behaviors and then converting that behaviors into development phase. That's the BDD, behavior driven development. First, I'm capturing the behaviors of the scenario or the flow, then I'm converting that into technical things. What if
Yeah.
I come in reverse? I said, I wrote, "Hey Jana, I already created the steps, my Java steps are ready, and you tell me the behavior now. I will attach." Then he will say, uh, lot of behavior steps, and I did not cover all of them. Then I'll say, "Hey, I don't have those steps in my backend." Then say, "Who cares? If you don't have, who cares? This is my behavior. This is the behavior of the scenario to have to test. If you don't have the backend, if you don't have the step definition, if you don't have the Java code for that, go and write it." Then what happens? First I started my Java, first I started my development, then I checked with behavior. My behavior and my Java, my development is not matching. Then again I had to change my development based on behavior. So it has a cycle, right? It's a rework.
Yeah. In a simple words, I can call this way, right? Behavior is the manual test case, and then driven development is the Java code.
Yeah, and one thing is, Jana, it's not only for testing, for anything. You're right, but you, since you are doing testing, you matching with the testing. But this
Yeah.
BDD is not only for testing.
Okay.
See, if we get to some use case, some new functionality, when you're talking to your business, what will you ask? Hey, what is the behavior of this functionality, right? If without knowing the behavior of, what would you do? Can you start your development? You can, but you will develop half cooked development, right? You have to capture the behavior first. You have to understand the behavior, you have to understand the functionality, and write those behaviors, convert that into steps. This is not only for Selenium, guys. Forget about the Selenium. If I get a use case, I'll just write it in my text pad. Okay, this is for each story I'll write it. First you call that system and get this data, call this API and get this transaction ID, pass this transaction ID to some other API and get the transaction details, check whether the transaction detail has some elements or not. So what is that? First you have to know what you're going to do in your development. I cannot start my development just thinking the behavior, right? I should know the behavior. That's why BDD is getting popular now. We don't
So
need to repeat the cycle.
it's a must, right? Since for we need to have a behavior to. Is it a? I mean, it's a must, right?
That's what I mean. It's not must. When you get a use case, when someone gives you the use case and you did not understand the functionality and you started your development and you miss the pieces in the functionality, what would happen?
No, no. I was asking like if for a CI/CD thing, you have to have a behavior like
I
should.
didn't say that. I didn't say that. For CSAD, we need to have behavior. I didn't say that statement
No,
at
no.
all.
I'm just asking you, just to double check.
Don't
Just
there is, I don't know, your statement itself is not right. Don't attach this behavior to CSCD. All I'm saying is, when I'm getting a requirement from Jana and Jana is giving a requirement to me, first I need to understand the requirement and functionality. I need to understand how my application is going to behave when I add this use case. Without knowing the behavior, how can I start my development? I was developing before, then what happened? I developed and I showed them to business. They said this is not we are expecting. Changes, changes, changes. Again go back to development, change it. So without knowing the behavior, without understanding the behavior, it's it's a cycle of the development need to go through. So instead of starting the development, what they're saying is, this approach is a better approach, the best approach. Get the behavior first and write your development based on the behavior. Don't do the development without knowing the behavior. Your development should not run the behavior. Your behavior should run the development. This is what we are doing here. This is what we're doing. We are writing. So what is the first step here? Writing the test case or writing the Java? Writing the step, right?
Yeah, writing the behavior first. What is
First.
the behavior of the application? Then you build the code on it.
Yeah.
It's like a business requirement.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
That's it. So when I started some project, like long back, 4 years back, I was I was a Java developer. Like my team, whoever the QA team, right? They were giving me this behavior steps. They will design. They were designing this feature file based on their design. Based on the feature file, I was writing my definitions. So what kind of development I was using? BDD, behavior driven development. I'm doing behavior driven development. That's it. Any questions here on BDD?
It's clear,
Yeah,
easy to understand.
yeah. See, my approach is write the scenario first, write the empty methods, and run it. Okay. Now what I do is write an empty method. I'll just make it false. Suppose I'm writing a new method, public void test. I'll say Walmart. This is my method. What I do is I'll make this false. Asset true. That's it. What I do is I'll make this test case false. So what happens when I run my empty scenario? The scenario will fail, right? Now you have to make this scenario successful. You have to make this scenario pass. How? Write the development. That's it. When you write a development, then you will remove this. So initially you write your scenario, you write your steps, you write your step definitions and mark every scenario fail, 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 fail. When you start development, mark every scenario success, 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 success. So your scenario should be passed. When you're doing your development, you are making your scenario pass. That's simple. Or you can just keep blank, nothing will happen. But if you don't keep your scenario fail, you won't go there for the development, right? I think my battery is running. So any questions on BDD? Any questions on assertions?
Yeah, so far I am good.
Yeah.